Welcome back to the Power and the Glory. Today's scripture is taken from the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 17. But before I start the scripture, please like, share, and subscribe. It really is important for the Google algorithm. And thank you to my existing subscribers for your ongoing support. I really do appreciate it. So read the scripture now. Whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his deeds. So the verse emphasizes the importance of being kind, compassionate, and generous to those less fortunate than ourselves. Now, helping the poor is not just a moral obligation for all Christians, it also is a reflection of our alignment with God. Now, moving on to the scripture, starting off with whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord. Well, this phrase suggests that acts of generosity and kindness to those less fortunate than ourselves is really seen as a meaningful and direct service to God. The phrase elevates giving to the poor as being more than just a transaction, and instead is a sacred commitment to God himself. Moving on to the next part of the scripture, who promises to repay such kindness. So while we should never give merely to receive back, it's good to know that God actually honors our acts of compassion and charity and will repay our kindness in his time. Now, there's no guarantee that we'll be repaid in kind. The rewards and compensation may be material, but they could also manifest as spiritual fulfillment, harmony, inner peace, and a greater sense of purpose and self-worth. Your generosity will also bring you closer to God. Now, this is also about us being in this together, the rich and the poor. It's about the intrinsic value of individuals. The verse highlights the inherent worth of every person, regardless of their economic status. By helping the poor, we affirm their dignity and our shared humanity. So what are the key learnings from this scripture? Well, it's that God is interested in your heart posture above all else. You must be driven by unselfish love and compassion, particularly towards the poor. And nothing speaks about your heart being truly aligned with God than your helping of the poor. When you help the poor, you're doing God's will as well as doing God's work. You'll be measured by God on your attitude to the poor, by the way, in God's final judgment, as Jesus declares in Matthew chapter 25, verse 40. Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these my brothers, you did it to me. So this underlines the point that generous acts on behalf of the poor are recognized by God as acts of service to him.